Hello from a very warm Austin, Texas. I think 106 today, basically bacon grease. It is hot, but thank you for joining me today. I've got a new term for you that I've had to wrestle with in my own life. Even most recently, another layer of wrestling with this term. It can be a clinical term. It can also be a term that just really describes how you might be with your partner, or how your partner might be with you, or how you might be with each other. The term is called over-responsibility. I have 3 kids. My youngest is 16, and I have had my own therapist use words with me like, I think you might be being a bit over-responsible with your son in this new season of life. For me, I've had to really kind of wrestle with, man, where is this coming from? What is over-responsibility? It is, with kids, feeling like you have to constantly check on them, feeling like they can't be alone too often, feeling like you've got to micromanage maybe their situation. My youngest is the baby of 3. I will be honest with you, I've had to wrestle with this over-responsibility. And it's not just in kids. We can feel over-responsible for our partner's repair work and recovery work, or even lack thereof. How this looks is we can feel like it's our job to babysit our partner's progress. Are you doing the boot camp? Are you reading this book? Are you doing your homework? Are you scheduling therapy? Are you? And we can feel like we've got to manage their life. We become overly responsible, over-responsible for their own work or their own progress. And it pushes them away from us, but it frustrates the hell out of us and causes so much drama and collateral damage and internal chaos inside of us. And we are left in a rubble of frustration because we feel like what we're doing is noble, but it's actually causing more pain and more hurt. Inevitably, in a conversation like this, the word codependent is brought up. And if I can tell you one thing, I've had so many people tell betrayed spouses, well, you're just codependent. You just need to stop being codependent. That's one of the most overdiagnosed terms for a betrayed spouse, male or female, who is traumatized, who is trying to navigate through a very touchy, very difficult situation. So hold on, I'm not even using that word. That's kind of the extreme. This is the middle ground of over-responsibility. For me, I have struggled with it. And early on in repair work, I absolutely struggled with it, as did Samantha. There was this, what are you doing? Well, are you doing your work? And we can feel like it's our job to manage our partner's recovery. And I have to tell you today, it is not. That is being over-responsible. My question is, are you being over-responsible today? It is a tough way to live. It's a frustrating way to live. It looks like this, where we are constantly feeling like the onus is on us to manage their recovery. Now I know your rebuttal. Your rebuttal is, well, Sam, if I don't hold them to it, they're not going to do it. Exactly, that's the problem. And we have to talk about it. One of my questions is, if you're having to manage it for them, are they really in it? Are they really doing the work? Are they really committed if you are having to be overly responsible for their work, which is theirs to do? So the question is, are they even getting anything out of it? This isn't just for parenting. This is for our marriage, our relationship. We can be over-responsible for their healing. And I'm here to tell you, from my own personal experience, it does not work. It only makes things worse. It only complicates the mission because The one that we are being overly responsible for gets frustrated and says, leave me alone. I'm an adult. I can do it. I can do it. Stop nagging me. Get off me. Leave me alone. I'll do it in my time. Now, some of that's crap. Some of that's truth. But at the end of the day, we're pushing them away when in reality, we want them to do the work. We want them to have initiative, right? But us being overly responsible for them only frustrates things in a way that everybody's unhappy. Now, I can hear some of you might be saying, so what do we do, Sam? What are you proposing that I, the overly responsible one, do? Here is how we can heal from this over responsibility. I use the word heal because I'm going to expand on where being overly responsible comes from. Number one, we have to own that we are like this. We have to admit, you know what? I am guilty of being over responsible for my partner or my spouse. You just have to embrace it. I think at some level, most of us, not all of us, struggle with this, but many of us, based upon personality profile, based upon how we were raised as children, based upon attachment style, a lot of us are like this. And if you're struggling with this, one of the best things that you can do is do what I had to do. And I'm not holding myself up as the benchmark for humility. I am saying, why would I not hold myself up at the benchmark of humility? Because I've already got enough people who love to tell me that I'm not humble. If I have to tell you I'm humble, I don't know that I am. So I'm just going to let me speak for me. But one of the best things that you can do is do what I had to do with my therapist and say, I think you're right. I'm not going to argue with you this time. I tell me more about it, but it sure sounds like I'm guilty of that. We have to own it. We have to admit it. One of the best things that we can do is embrace it and go, yeah, I'm struggling with being overly responsible for my partner and I don't know how to get free of it. There, I said it. I'm tired of it. I'm frustrated about it. I hate it. I don't know how to fix it. There, that's honesty. We can't heal from what we're not honest about. Number two is we have to find out, why are we like this? In parenting, I realized that I was projecting some of my childhood developmental pain and abandonment and neglect and abuse onto my son. So I was projecting it onto him. Why are we like that in marriage or significant relationships? Sometimes it's pride. Sometimes it's what happened to us as a child. Sometimes it's just fear, terrible fear. It could be so many different reasons, but we have to find out why we do what we do. Why are we like this? We can find out and we can heal. And then we can stop doing that to our partner and we'll see the relationship have a momentum of its own, not what we've always had to make happen. Now, I know you might say, well, Sam, hold on. What if I don't do it? What if the marriage doesn't, or the relationship doesn't gain the momentum that you're saying it's going to gain? Unfortunately, that will reveal what's going on inside your partner, and they will have to deal with that. But if you're the only one that's keeping the relationship together, how healthy is that? That's not sustainable for the long haul, my friend. Next is to get a care team around you, because I will tell you, this took work for me, both in marriage and in parenting. And the best thing that you can do is get a care team. If you identify with this and you're like, you know what, Sam, I struggle with this. It's me. I deal with it. You can be unfaithful. You can be betrayed. It doesn't really matter, because the unfaithful can be over responsible. Well, why won't they do this? And why won't they do that? And I want them to get healed and I want them to do work. Well, maybe they're not ready yet. Well, I want them to and I need them to, and I'm not going to be okay if they're not okay. We've got to get a care team around us to help us, to open up our eyes, to help us care for ourselves, to be able to really have accountability. When my therapist has had to ask me, how am I doing with this? I have to grade myself. I have to be honest about it, and I have to own where I'm missing it. Finally, you have to stay committed to the process. I didn't get over this fast. And I'm still working through a little bit of it parenting wise, but I'm doing so much better than I used to do. And early on in recovery, once I began to understand what I was doing, it helped me so much. I promise you, it won't be easy, but it's possible. I will tell you, this will change your repair work. It will change your relationship. When the pressure is no longer just on you, the relationship will grow because their work is their work. And we've got to be able to find happiness and security and comfortability and internal self-reference even when they're not doing the level of work that we think that they should be doing or any work. We have to be able to say, I'm not responsible for you. I'm only responsible for me, and I will not unnecessarily bear the responsibility for you to get healthy. That's not my job. My job is to get myself healthy and then make decisions down the road should they decide to not get healthy or stay healthy. I hope that this has helped you today. It's a tough concept, but it's a true life-changing concept. I'm here to tell you, I've had to confront myself on this. I'm so glad that I have, and I hope you will too. If I can help in any way, please leave a comment, send a message. I'm so glad that you're here. Myself and Affair Recovery will do everything that we can to help you heal.